Very abrupt live, but alright.
Well, you know what?
Sorry, that was like an exaggerated ow for like learning purposes.
Charlie!
I'm not actually hurt.
You guys, and by you guys I mean Jareko, slayed the monster, and you all level up. So does Jareko. You level up from 4 to 5. He levels up from 2 to 3.
Hey!
Which does mean he's going to get second level spells.
That's awesome.
Which is actually pretty useful.
We need to bring him along on more adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Absolutely.
He's clearly our most powerful friend.
Imagine how much... Never mind. Get that out of here. So what are you guys doing? You're in this strange chamber. The creature is defeated and is now in a gemstone. The Black Aether is there before you.
How big is the Black Aether? Like, large?
Yeah. Big-ish to carry. Actually, not quite that large, but like reasonable to carry it in 2 hands, but you could hold it in one if you wanted to.
I'm going to take one of my sacks.
Jareko has the briefcase. It was in.
I'm not even touching the crystal is the thing. Like, I'm literally just, because I'm just going to, I'm gonna sack it.
Yeah.
And then throw the sack
like doing a pillow.
Yeah, exactly.
Rope's gonna put like clamps on the briefcase. I don't think that'll
definitely
hold.
taking it out at some point.
You're wanting to research it, Yuna.
We need to be careful. It made all of this just by being.
I'm just gonna give Rofi like a flat look.
I
didn't
can't
say
believe
not to look at it.
I agree with the gremlin. But
Of course, everyone agrees with that statement.
d-
It was an obvious statement.
you
I
are
didn't say not to
known
look. I want to
to
look
be reckless isn't the right word, but it is reckless adjacent.
Ooh, what about that one? And Rofi like walks over to the one that you have, like the.
Oh, careful! It kind of like stings a little bit. I'll pop it into your hand.
It stings you too.
Is it like cold? Like it's too cold sting or too? hot
That's a
sting?
good way to compare it. It's not a cold damage, but
No,
it's
but
that
it's-
similar sensation of your body doesn't quite know how to react to this, so it's just pain, you know?
Rofi like makes sure that like his like thickest parts of his gloves are holding it. Oh, interesting. Hands it back.
Unheated, I believe is the word you were looking for, Draco.
Well, we have what we came. You have what you came for. Came for. Came for.
Are you okay, Draco?
He's fine. I'm not.
Okay.
I think I need more caffeine, but that's a problem for a future Ollie. Right now. We should leave. This place is terrible, and I hate it.
I agree.
I'm going
It's
to
not so bad.
back up the stairs.
He's going to join you quite hurriedly.
I'm actually going to pick up the dead archaeologist though, and put him on and strap him to the ladder. I'm gonna be bringing him back with us.
Okay. You can put him
You
in the
look
box.
very worried about that, Tesh.
No, it's fine.
I might be planning to brew this man, but don't worry about it.
So on the guest book, as we're leaving, can I just write places abandoned and haunted? Leave.
You walk downstairs, and the ghost host is melting into the floor.
Oh, can we get
Kind
that
of
too?
like that black goopy substance from the creature. He is sort of writhing and melting into the floor as you're
Are you
leaving.
quite all right?
He doesn't really respond.
I'm going to scoop up his goop in a
Yeah.
vial.
Just scoop another man's goop like that.
I'm scooping his goop.
When
I'm
we
putting
exited
bottle
the
of Iffy in my inventory.
Yeah. When we exited the staircase, what happened to the staircase?
Still there.
Oh, that's weird.
Is it
This
still
might-
raining outside?
Yes.
Okay.
This may have created some sort of extra dimensional rift into the realm of shadow that may or may not ever disappear.
You might
I love it.
want to inform someone that we might need to put guards on this.
Can we buy this property?
Ooh, I like that.
We're not buying a haunted house.
Can we buy it,
Oh, but-
please?
Not.
Yeah, it'd be great.
It'll be like a great like little like summer cottage.
He will look. He will, because there's no one else here aside from a melting man.
In a bottle. No,
you
he's
you
all
could
in
not scoop him all in one
bottles.
bottle. He is
I'm
too
gonna scoop as many
he is
bottles as I
too
can.
physical for that still. You can
Okay.
get a tiny sample without deeply agitating this ghost. That is all
I'm
you can
gonna
do.
Scoop as many bottles as I can.
Okay, fine.
No, okay. I'm not. It's fine. I'll just take the sample. It's
Yeah.
fine. Small bottle of Iffy then.
Yes.
We have very low health. Don't
Can you
agitate
get one
the
for me
ghost.
too?
No. Just
Probably not.
I want to craft a ghosty weapon.
I'm going to be giving this to you, Yuna. This
While
is
you're
not-
doing this, Draco goes through the paperwork, mostly so that he can face away from that horrible sight of a man leaking into shadow. And he finds, this is when you like write in a guest book and stuff, and he finds the deed, and says that, well, this building is owned by a Lady Fira, so if we...
Oh, perfect.
I'm so sure it could be organized with her if we could find her in the city.
I suspect, based on Voss's reaction, she's not in the city.
No, she's my aunt.
Of course she is. Voss, why does your aunt own a haunted inn on the side of the road?
This makes so much sense now.
Voss,
Oh.
you remember when I asked you if you knew anything about the haunted stairs, and you said no, but this just seems like a step into the realm of shadow? That was quite a jump. Logically.
Well, here's the thing. Ghosts are completely different than the creatures of the shadow.
Yes.
To call such a place haunted is a tremendous discredit to the horrors that lurk in the realm beyond.
This man is a ghost.
Pointing to the melting Iffy.
Down into the ground.
I mean, in a manner of speaking, yes.
At the very least, this place is haunted because of his presence. No offense, Ithy. It was delightful.
I feel that the aether crystal we gathered may have more to do with what's happened here than Ithi or the place itself.
Oh, I quite agree, but I'm just saying it was... Did you know?
About this place? No. I had no idea. I had no idea what we were dealing with until the shadows showed up, which of course gave me somewhat of an inkling to what might be happening. And then the staircase into the realm that doesn't really make sense in terms of geography of the structure. Putting two and two together, you know. The fact that this
You're
place
right.
is owned by Lady Fyra is just... It makes
Who
perfect sense.
Is your aunt?
She's the matriarch of House Nor. The current one, anyways.
The woman I was going to meet owns this horrible haunted shithole.
Yes, and I think that this may not actually be a coincidence.
I think we might need to put a marker in the concept of this marriage. Although I suppose Yuna is in the business of creating ghosts, so Maybe it is
Well,
appropriate.
the way I see it, one of two things has taken place here. This was either a terrible coincidence, or you've passed whatever test she had planned for you.
Oh, good job.
In either case,
Get
you're
it
still
straight.
alive.
Well done! I'm so glad that you slayed the beast.
He puts his spell book back in his waistcoat pocket with that kind of look, like a kid who's like, I'm mad, but also being complimented.
Rofi is gonna like hook himself onto the ladder on the back of Raka to start reading the journal.
There's a dead dwarf on there.
Rofi's not gonna care about that sort of thing.
Dangling above my head.
Dead elf.
Oh, elf. Pardon me. Dead elf. So he's longer. Less wide, though. You might have a little more room on the side of the ladder.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and decipher the note person has written.
You can do that in old downtime.
Mm-hmm.
We're traveling back now, are we?
So we're going back to town, I think, right?
I believe that is the plan.
On our way back, but after I've had time to sleep and prepare my spells for the next day,
Yeah.
I would like to speak with the dead corpse you brought back with us.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm just gonna prop him up.
Prop him up on the back of the
We're gonna
beetle.
ask some questions. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Give me uno momento. It's not suspicious. It's never suspicious. You're always suspicious when I do that. Sometimes I just need a moment to think about my life.
your choice of choosing us as
Okay.
party members.
Why don't you describe what you do?
Yeah, of course. I just kind of like pick him up into like a sitting position.
Yeah.
I could just
Yeah,
sit
like-
down. He's still on the ladder. You could just, he would be propped up. If that were the case.
Respectful.
And I'm just gonna take on some of that like silvery paint that I usually use when casting my spells and like draw like a quick circle around it. Draw an eyeball on his forehead. And I'm just gonna say, so what is your name?
The kind of ghostly white light glows in the eyes and mouth. Mostly the mouth, though. And the throat of the corpse, which I remember is pretty well maintained, but still a little desiccated. And the answer that comes back is Mikumo.
We already knew that, but it just felt like it would be polite to ask.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get the dark aether crystal, Akumo?
It was protected in a old cavern worshipped by beasts.
And where was this cavern?
To the south.
Did you have time to study the aether crystal?
The lure of it was irresistible. I am not a mage, but I could not resist.
Who else has seen the aether crystal?
Only I and those who guarded it. And then the light recedes.
I want to keep the crystal.
We cannot keep the crystal,
I want to
Yuna.
keep the crystal.
I know, but we have a job to do.
I want to keep part of the crystal.
That sounds like it will explode into shadowy darkness and kill us all.
I'm really careful about it.
I'm pretty sure it will still explode into shadowy darkness and kill us all.
What if I can come up with a safe way of doing it? Then can I do it?
I'm not your keeper.
I am, you can't do it.
You shouldn't even be here.
Well, I am, and I'm stopping you from causing another explosion.
Okay, no, but it's not gonna be. It'll be fine.
Should at least.
Oh,
take
yes,
it-
right. The other crystal is filled with magic we understand. This is filled with
I
nightmares.
understand this magic.
We
It just
should take
gives
it
you a
with
look.
us when we go to visit my family. There are those among them familiar with this type of magic who
Your
may be-
family is the other way.
That's correct.
Are you suggesting
Just
we
like-
see them before you bring this back to the Daimao?
Yes.
Yes.
That is not strictly a breach of our contract.
Jericho shrugs with some degree of acceptance. Doesn't hate the idea.
So long as we are not overlong in our visitation, there's no reason that the Daimao should be upset.
I'm
I'm
sure
below.
Draco would be thrilled to make the visit short with Lady Fyra.
I'm sure she's lovely. I'll put on my best prim, proper reception smile.
Christians, we're turning around. Just like as Rofi
No,
goes.
no. We're going back to town still first.
What?
We are still
That
going to go
would-
back to town
That
to regroup.
that would take is 2 weeks back to town.
Yes.
Are we that far? out?
Longer. Yeah, basically it's gonna take you a long time to do both, which would be suspicious.
Yeah.
It will still
Unless-
take you a long
Oh.
time to go off to House Noor, but that would be less suspicious because you would be gone.
Exactly.
If we then appear and then disappear again and then reappear, it'll be like,
And that's adding an extra month onto the amount of time we'd be taking to do it by going
We
back.
could honestly just tell them what we're doing.
No, they might not like that.
They won't like it. Not at all. Which is probably why we shouldn't
This
do it in
is
the first-
bureaucracy. This is very simple. We go to House Noor. They won't ask questions as long as we don't show our faces in the city. If we go back to the city, then they will see us. And then they will say, well, why did you leave again before seeing us? And then we would be all executed. If we send a message to them, the chance is that we would be executed. We don't send a message unless they ask. And we're not going to ask because you've been sent on a quest that probably they thought would take longer time than it has. And maybe if we, encourage this beetle to move slightly faster, and actually think we could move faster on foot without the thing, and
And if we just happen to visit Ross's family while we're out, we can't really be blamed for that.
if
We
it
were in the
comes to
area.
it,
Good.
the fact that Lady Fira owns the establishment in which the Black Aether was found means that perhaps we visited them first, if the question is asked. Or we were merely getting more answers so that we can better serve the great Daimao. You've got to learn how to spin these things, Univara, if you're to lead this house one
Why
day.
am I getting in trouble? I'm in agreement with you.
You're not in trouble, you just need to learn how to say things
you're
in the
here
right
for.
way for people who are more in charge.
That's what you're here for.
this is dumb. And Rofi goes and sits down. He
The
doesn't like all
insights
this.
we have to gain by doing this, I feel, greatly outweigh anything we have to gain in terms of regrouping in the
I
city
agree.
first. There's no reason this trip need only serve one purpose.
Christians, we're turning around.
Do you do
Anyone
what Jericho says and speed up? The downside of speeding up is that you're less likely to see any kind of threat on the roads.
Do you want to travel fast, folks? Yes? Alright, let's
Okay.
do it.
Okay, yep.
Can I work on enchanting stuff while we're traveling?
Depends on the thing, because you don't have, especially with Jericho with you, you don't have much space. You know, you're basically in the back of a car, and while you can enchant some things in the back of a car, you can't enchant others.
Draco, do you know how to cast floating disc?
No.
If you give me time, I can.
Me neither. Really?
I can. If you give me an hour, I can set it up.
Honestly, the people who I see going around the city with a disc floating behind them carrying all sorts of sundries is somewhat pretentious.
I don't think anybody's gonna see us out here. They're traveling.
Yes,
So I don't
while
think
we're
it's-
traveling, yes. Yes, you're correct.
That's very insightful, Jarviskjir.
Because
I
if
mean,
he
I
casts
would-
floating disc, then that gives me a little more space to craft stuff, right?
Oh,
To
Like,
be
Not
hold it down on it.
really?
It's a big disc.
yeah, but the disc wouldn't stay level. The disc isn't a
Let me
a
pop the
desk.
thing.
And it isn't a workspace.
Neither is a giant beetle.
Yeah, neither is a giant beetle. Exactly.
Ah, fine.
Yeah, no.
3 feet in diameter.
Yeah, no. I like the hustle, but no.
I would.
You
be working
really
on
need
the-
for downtime activities, most like enchant for crafting. You really need to be somewhere settled.
Don't want a bad bump.
You don't want a bad bump. You need to stop. You need to, Scritches has a mind of his own. Sometimes he's just
Skitches
like,
is
oh,
a very well-behaved beetle, and I take offense to that.
yeah, but sometimes he'll, go off to lick at a tree, and Rakath's like, oh, just let him, that's fine,
Rakath doesn't say anything. Rakath is in no control whatsoever of this beetle.
I know, but in my heart, he is.
Yeah, everyone wishes he was.
Yeah.
Do I
Instead
get
it's
some
instead
time
it's
to
Josiah.
research
So it's
the
just,
Yeah.
Because that's something I could do in the back, I imagine.
you can give me an intelligence check. Yes. Research usually.
Nearly did it again with that advantage tab. Ooh.
It's quite good.
Yeah. Most of the notes are about where Mikomo found the crystal. It seems that a community had grown around this cavern, and it's kind of redundant, saying, "Oh, it's a cave in a cave," but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sunken place in the ground, somewhat waterlogged. It seemed to be a community of partly Koatoa and partly Dero. The place itself had a lot of natural cave, behind it. And the cave itself was kind of blue. Like, mostly it's blank, but there's occasionally like a blue chalk used to draw it. So it was called the not the Blue Caverns, because that doesn't sound good, but something in Elven that sounds slightly similar to that, but better. I'll get back to you in the future. But you could use this to get to them. This is actually good enough note-keeping that if you wanted to see where the Black Aether was found, you totally could. It seems like there were slightly more permanent ruins and structures where basically he went through like an Indiana Jones adventure to get this thing. Because he's an archaeologist. Those aren't as well noted, and kind of after that the notes get a little more haphazard. There's lots of drawings of the crystal and things like that.
Can I take note of how long it takes for the notes to start getting...
Yeah,
iffy?
it would be around a month of time.
Okay. I will inform Una of the location, because I know she was asking that earlier, and I will also inform everyone that we should be careful, because around a month's time his notes became erratic.
We're going to be on this journey for longer than that. On the way back, anyway.
Then I am going to look at ways I can try and seal the thing more.
Yeah?
For a case.
How?
Well, I mean, if we're doing stuff for a long time, I'm going to use cobble together and see if I can't figure out anything that
You can
work.
make the case thicker. You are quite aware that is. You basically have a radioactive rock.
Yep.
in a
You know, I'm
box.
going to test different metals to see if any metals let it through more or less.
With your crafting knowledge, and this is basically because I just compared it to radioactive, a thick casing of lead does usually not always stop this kind of thing. You know, a lead box is not a magic-proof box, but
Yeah.
it's essentially magic-proof. You know, there's that 1% of bacteria that always makes through. You know, you don't have any lead, and you can't just create lead.
That's the next part.
But if you could find lead in the Narashiro caverns,
Oh dear. I will inform everyone that I would prefer a lead lining to this case, or like outer lining to this case.
I'm
little
just cuddling
one,
it. Why?
little one, do you believe you could see and prospect lead if you saw it out here?
Well, I imagine I would be able to, or
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Maybe not
Yeah.
as well as some people, but I think you would be able to do it. Well, I think then we should take even more of a detour to find such lead, because if it takes 4 weeks of time, it's another 3 weeks to House Nor. The way back will be long enough for us all to turn to ghosts, and the beetle too.
You know what? The next thing I want to check in the notes: how long till the notes stopped?
Ooh, about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. So it accelerates fast after the note taking goes interesting.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, there was a period right before they stopped where they were very lucid.
Oh, what are those notes about?
Mostly about the hotel. How the hotel
Okay.
was really nice when he first got here, but it seems to have got worse in quality. When it wasn't the rainy season then, so he doesn't quite know why. And then a little bit after that, he's dead.
Yeah, he did. That's interesting to note. Okay. Well, then yes, I think a detour for lead is a very good idea.
So, how are we gonna do this? You don't have the find mining option of World of Warcraft. Let me take a real look at your character sheet. Because, like, professional prospecting would be a total thing I would allow, but you aren't. You aren't that. It would be... I think an investigation would be allowed. Also survival. You could also maybe do an arcana, like trying to, but nah. Lead is like non-magical, so no arcana.
Yeah.
So it's really between survival and investigation. I'll tell you, survival would be easier than investigation.
Is it 7 points easier though?
No. And of course, if you have the whole party helping you, 2 people get to do a check with advantage.
I will
that's a good
do an additional check then, since I also have a +7 to investigation.
Good.
That'll work. So two advantage investigation checks.
Yes, please.
Après-vous, senor.
No. Yes.
Lead.
And this is during the first week of travel. You kind of go off the path and slow down quite a bit. During one of these times, it basically means every now and again you stop early and you wander. You ideally try to find a high place or a low place or natural caves. Take a pooky look. Eventually, Rakath finds a very easy to spot narrow passage in kind of a hill. Because you're going through fungal forest the whole time. It's not the densest part of a fungal forest, which means this isn't actually as bad as it could have been. And there's lots of chunks of rock which often do have ores in them. Not enough to be worth mining for other people, but you can shenanigan a lot of things. The passageway is very dark. There's no aether crystals within it. And there is actually something living within the cavern. You kind of do all your checks, and you're like, okay, based on what I know about this and all the whatever, this is very lead-rich ground, which means this cave is lead-rich. As you wander in to look, you see in the cave side veins of lead and a creature sitting basically in front of them. The creature seems maybe not slumbering, but at rest. It is quite large, quite rocky, not to the extent of, an earth elemental, but the scales on its body are clearly made of rock. The top of its body just kind of opens up into a mouth, and there is an eye, but it's shut. It's just kind of sitting. Doesn't necessarily notice your presence, because you would be stealthing around, If you wanted to actually try and stealth past it and get hunks of lead from the wall, that'd be a whole different scenario, but...
Important questions. 1, I assume we've rested.
Yes, this is a week later.
2, how many prep points would I have by this time?
Full.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are traveling during downtime, if it's been a couple of days, it's quite easy to assume that should be full.
Sweet. Okay. What's the plan?
I don't know. You tell me.
I could probably get... I'm not very quiet when I get the lead, so that's probably not a good idea to try and get the lead while it's still there.
Are there any visible chunks loose?
Are there any visible chunks loose?
Yes.
Because I...
Directly behind the creature. It looks like it may have pulled some out of the wall at some point.
You know what?
Does it look like there's enough loose that we wouldn't need to actually mine any if we grabbed all of the loose chunks?
I will say, during the travels, because you're looking for the lead, Jericho would have shown you a spell of his. A cantrip that allows him to magnetically interact with metals. Now, I don't know or care if lead is magnetic. I don't give a shit. But he actually can up metals. But that would still involve getting close to the thing, but not as close, obviously.
Okay.
But the boss can distract it and then run.
Well, the chunks are big enough that, we'll get what we need from those chunks. I think, at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Assuming you don't fail.
Yeah, I can try and sneak behind it, and then misty step back, and we run.
How sneaky are you?
A little. Without my backpack, much more stinky, but still a little.
Well, why don't you stay here?
Just seeing if I have anything that could work to... Nope. No, it is still probably best if I go, because if it wakes up, I can misty step, I can go invisible, I can do a whole bunch of things.
I go and do attract its attention. Then you sneak behind it and grab its stuff and run. And then I run.
Oh no, that's a great sign. But
the
yeah,
question.
fair.
Does this have blind sense?
Oh no, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fun times. I guess that's the plan now. You try, and then if you get caught, I'm gonna rush, grab it, and run.
It's a snatch and grab.
If one of us gets caught and is in trouble, then I guess we fight.
Meanwhile, on the beetle, Drago's like, I don't know why they didn't want me to help in mining. I slayed the monster. I would be so useful.
Are Voss and Yuno with us right now?
I imagine
Yeah.
not.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, they're the ones looking out for this
We
sneak.
should go back and get Voss and Yuta first.
Oh, yes.
Just in case things go horribly, horribly wrong.
Agreed.
Because they will probably go horribly, horribly wrong.
Most likely.
All right.
I like the idea. It's like he's like, I don't know why they don't want. And then we describe the monster to him.
Yeah. While Jericho says that originally, I'll just say to him, Jericho, it's most likely simply beneath you. You're right. He would be almost too useful, you know? No sense
I
in
completely
bothering
understand.
you with such a
Yes.
paltry task.
You are correct. Wise as ever.
And then I just lean over and whisper to Yuta and say, I learned that from him.
That's fantastic.
So they come back to get you.
Yeah. Okay, so the plan is for you to go and Rofia's backup, essentially.
Yes, and if things go horribly wrong, you guys is backup for that.
Great.
Right. Okay, one moment. We're gonna invest your shield.
I'm actually gonna first also
onto Rakath.
a prep point with Cobble together, and I'm gonna like give him a device that'll make it easy to extract it without making too much noise. Like something that like he can like put against the wall and sort of like pop it out a little bit into his hand, something like that.
Is your plan to mine from the walls or take from behind the monster?
Oh, okay. Then
That
like,
is a picking up.
Give me a scoop.
I thought they were loose on the wall.
Like,
I
grab-
They're loose on the
Yeah.
ground.
Give me
in
a
that
scoop.
case-
Something to scoop them with.
In that case, I will
Scoop me,
give you
Jay.
something that'll like allow you to put them into a bag without them clanking into each other.
Oh, like a...
A quiet bag.
Okay.
Like with individual pockets.
Oh, okay.
Individual pockets, so they have a little bit of cloth in between them.
Okay.
That makes
You
more
can
sense.
do that.
It won't change much, but at least it'll be something.
Yes, that was the subtext there. That is slightly to very useless. Your results may vary, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I had originally thought they were still on the wall, but I already sent the spell, so might as well do something with it.
You could just have not, but that's fine.
That's fine.
And before Rakath heads off, like just as he's about to, I will also cast Haste.
Okay.
Now we're talking.
Now we're cooking with gas.
Target speed is doubled. It
I can
gains
just
plus
imagine
bonus.
Raka being huge, crouching down, and sneaking
So quick.
fast.
So, and a reminder, none of those actions count against your bonus action.
Yeah.
There are additional actions on top of that. So
Alrighty then.
you could like triple dash. I'm pretty sure
I'm
with your
the
rogue stuff.
Flash.
You know what it looks like when in video games, like the animation glitch and lag, and someone runs super fast. in the
Yeah.
spot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm gonna try and stealth.
Yeah.
And the fluff for this, by the way, is that you know exactly where you're going.
20.
Cool.
Okay.
Because you can see a little bit into the future.
You incredibly quickly move. And it takes a bit. It takes maybe a half moment of getting used to moving so quickly and being quiet. Even though haste kind of does that for you, it's still strange. You move incredibly quickly down a narrow passageway into this cave, which is a way. You're going maybe 120 feet into the little end of the cave where this creature seemingly sleeps. You get up behind it. And the creature, the eye just opens. The one singular eye focuses on you.
Okay.
And is going to stand up. Are you going to grab the stones and run?
Grabbing and running.
Okay, give me a athletics check, please. With
Just scoop him into the bag.
with advantage, because it gives you advantage on dexterity saving throws, and it's kind of an analogous situation here. That's
Thank
pretty
you
good.
for that.
I'm glad he got advantage.
It runs after you, and there's this. It sounds like a rockfall as the creature gets up and starts yelling after you and starts moving. It's quite slow and lumbersome, and you're very fast as you're going with hands full of lead rocks. You out past these guys,
What do we?
and you
okay.
see the thing lumbering closer. And then, quite worryingly, you see it jump and vanish into the ground. But you hear the sound of it coming closer. Can you guys give me athletics check, please? How convenient you left Jericho on the beetle so he can rev Scritches up for you.
Yeah.
Get the beetle ready! Start the beetle!
Why
Start the
didn't I
beetle!
roll? Oh, there it is. Oh.
You guys start running at this point. Rakav says that to Jericho, and Jericho's like, how? Go! The Scritches is just like,
Scritches! Yeah!
and then Scritches like rears up a little bit and starts going. You get close.
I'll use that when I get close to the beetle to just poof onto the beetle.
You rolled a 9, my sir. You are overstepping your boundaries. Take that spell slot back. Well rhymed.
It's just a once per day.
I know what I said.
I'll take a spell slot back then.
Voss and you ruined my funky flow, Tesh.
Sorry.
Voss and Yuna get back on the beetle, as with Rakath, but I imagine Rakath would kind of wait because he's hasted. When you see Rofi running and tripping, the creature catching up, you can either cast Misty Step or you can make me another athletics check. Creature's still going to chase either way.
I will 100% cast Misty Step instead, if that's an option. So yeah, now I actually cast it.
At this point, you blink onto the back of the beetle, Rakath, very quickly, onto the Scritches, who's going. The creature...
I'm reaching my arm down for Yuna and Voss. Like,
they're up. They're
they're up?
on...
Good.
Yeah, they were on before you, because you would have waited for Rofi. I was describing this, using my words.
I missed it.
The creature at this point, because of the slight delay, is still chasing you. Which means Jericho needs to give me an animal handling check. Unless... Voss, would you immediately take the reins?
I was gonna say, I would assume that would be the case.
Please give me an animal handling check.
I will do my best.
Oh,
That's really good.
All right. The creature runs after you, but it seems quite evident that it's running out of steam, or in this case, maybe stone. And slows down quite significantly, and eventually is just a blip in the back of your vision. And Rofi, you can use your cobble together during the downtime to pack the briefcases outside with so much lead. It's ugly. It's heavy.
Yeah, it went from looking like really nice and stylish to just the
lumpy, chunky lead
He's going
obloid.
for a base thickness, but he doesn't care if like it's even all around.
Yes,
it just
that
needs one of
absolutely.
that base thickness.
Yeah. Hammer marks all over it.
Thank goodness for heat metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, no, I probably would be using heat metal to do that.
Absolutely successful in that. And that's actually going to be where we end it today, so that we can show up next week at House Nor, fresh-faced, fresh-minded, and mostly so that I can go and make a sandwich. I will abuse my DM powers for lunch at 3 a.m. Without any shame at all. So, why don't we start this? You may even be able to hear my stomach rumbling. I was describing the creature about to eat Rofi and gum yum. Why don't you talk about what you do, Dungeon Dad? Let me change the music from depressing cave music to something a little bit more joyous while you do so.
I'm really hoping what you're changing it to is what he's about to talk about.
I could actually do that.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's cool.
If I'm allowed.
Yeah, of course you are.
All right.
That you heard it here first. Ollie has blanket permissions to use Josiah's music on the street.
True.
It's a secret tool that will help us later.
Mm-hmm.
When I do a cyberpunk game and I need
Yeah.
background.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of what we've been alluding to, yeah, that's me. I'm Josiah, Dungeon Papa, Dungeon Dad. Primarily, I do have a YouTube channel all about monsters and D&D related stuff. You can find me on YouTube. That's great. What we were just talking about, though, specifically, is I also just released an album, extremely over-the-top electronic synthwave music called Cantrips with a K and a Z.
And it's
because
playing
that's-
right now. In
That's how you
theory.
know something synthwave is if all the C's are K's and all the S's are Z's.
You went full for the gimmick, and I respect it.
Absolutely. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it. I've actually shocked no one yet, so I guess I should talk about what this actually is first. This is an album called Cantrips. This all started as a joke because one of my players one time was like, "Oh, the names of the spells sound like synth tracks," and I was like, "That's a great idea."
Yeah.
And then I did one of them as a joke, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna do this. And then I did it, and that came out yesterday. You can actually get it on Bandcamp for free or for money. And you can find it on YouTube, all that stuff. You can just follow me on Twitter, all the links and nonsense are there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that is pretty much that. I have an album out now. It's very exciting. It exists. I don't know what Ollie just did, but
The setup is a little janky, but I'm playing cantrips.
great.
It's actually good
Yeah.
for this part.
I don't know.
I might shave
what
this for
else
later.
We're gonna do with this whole music situation, but we'll see what happens. That exists now for your listening pleasure or displeasure, depending on which song you pick, I guess. But yeah, that's me. That's a thing that exists. Feel free to use it to listen to or as a background music for your cyberpunk Shadowrun games.
Yeah. I every time my homebrew system has flavors of cyberpunk in it, and every time there's a club, because there's always a club, I end up using Mad Moxie's club songs, but now I have more, so that's good.
Now you have more.
Now I
Yeah,
have more.
the whole concept really was just like spells or songs named after spells, and I tried to like some of them are like Toll the Dead was very easy to do thematically. There's lots of bells. There's lots of.
If you're
bowling.
paying attention, I actually listened to it the first time like a couple of hours ago. If you're paying attention, you can you're like, It is what it is.
Clear in my head was that some of them are more obvious
Yeah.
than others, but then there's some of them where it's like, I don't know, how the fuck do you make Booming Blade into a spell or into a song, like, or prestidigitation?
Honestly, Prestidigitation is my
It's playing right now.
Prestidigitation is my favorite song on the album, and like I think he did a great job with it. Even though it still evokes the idea of Prestidigitation because there's enough going on with it that it's like it
is, yeah, absolutely. It wasn't the first one I listened to, so when I did listen to it, I was like, that is prestidigitation.
Like, I don't know how you make that into a song, but I did my best. I'll tell you this, the peak way to listen to this album is whilst driving down an open highway at 2 a.m. by yourself with it turned up way too loud in your car. This is the peak way to listen to this album. So if that's something you ever do or plan on doing,
I listened to it while leveling up my Night Elf Priest.
absolutely. So this is
It
actually,
did not work at all.
I don't mean to go on, but this is actually funny that you just said that, because with all electronic music, my friend who I play WoW with, we have a joke where it has to pass the WoW test, which is basically if you can level to it, it's a successful piece of music. So it's like involved enough to keep your attention, but not so
Yeah,
over the top.
it totally succeeded for that, but it did not succeed in the aesthetic of Teldrassil at all.
Yeah,
It's like, Priestess of the Light, you must save us. This fucking synthwave. Does not, does not go together. Well, does it? Who knows?
and
I know. Who does know is Aaron. I'm sorry, Aaron. When you draw
Hello?
attention to it, it has to return. Unfortunately, for better or worse.
I'm Erin. I play in D&D here on Sundays. And I'm super active in the Discord if you want to ask me questions. I like talking about D&D. And I'm tired, so that's all.
Tesh!
Hi, I'm Tesh of the Tesh Tube. You can follow me under that name on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You should follow me on Twitter because I post lots of cute animal gifs and all the updates and all the things I'm doing. But also, you should follow me on Twitch because on the 13th of September, 8:30 Australian Central Standard Time, or on the 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in America, I am going to be streaming Borderlands 3 from the second it launches. I am extremely excited about that game, and I may have my roommate and a couple of my friends here joining me, depending on how things work out with their jobs and such. But it'll be we played through all of the Borderlands games together, so I'm super excited about this. It'll be fun.
You know what time it is.
So ominous.
Is this just like a competition about?
Going on, guys? I'm Will. I'm running right now.
So,
Hey, what's up? It's your boy, Will. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button.
I don't have anything to talk about.
Okay. That's all you
Ollie,
needed to say.
what have you been up to lately?
Well, I'm
This show, so tell me more about you.
glad you ask, because I'm a very interesting person. I'm doing quite a lot at the moment, much to my enjoyment. You thought I was gonna be depressing about it. That's just for when this camera's turned off.
Yet it isn't. You just contradicted yourself.
I'm willing to break theming for a bad joke. There are currently only one show happening, but there's this show on Sundays set in Jarviskjir, in the Underdark. There is going to be another show on the Wednesday slot. We are preparing for it right now. I will tell you, you are going to get a little bit of a teaser of what it's about on Patreon, if you support me on Patreon. The shows are supported by Patreon. You get a whole extra show, my Monday game, which is very D&D-y, and also includes some of the best Jarviskjir characters. I'm sorry, none of you hold a candle to Flef, the stinky kobold.
Left.
And look, you can't
Flef
beat
is
Flef.
best.
Flef is a fan favorite. Yeah. You're the one who asked what was going on. You could have not done that. And,
Well, you know what? Thanks for watching, everybody. We're gonna end-
I've got more! If you are on...
Narashiro Night stream.
There is... so there's going to be a teaser on Patreon about what the new Wednesday game is going to be about. It is going to be the same people. But it isn't going to be as connected. It's going to be a little bit different. I also just posted a bunch of my janky test spells to Patreon. So have a gander at that. Every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, I am currently doing a project where I turn Pokemon into D&D monsters, and it's really fun. You get to help, so give me content views. And I'm working on a lot of stuff at the moment, a lot of big stuff going on, a lot of commissions. So on the Discord, on the Twitters, you'll get to see some coolio things. Thank you for visiting us. See you later. That's all you get. That's all you get. That's all, folks.